Hello and welcome to my video tutorial on how to use Google Forms for teachers. So there are two main methods of using Google Forms as quizzes and tests for teachers. I'm going to show you my favorite way and then I'll tell you a little bit about the other way as well. So first of all, my favorite way is if you go to Google Drive, then you can get started. So if you're in Google Drive, you can right click and go to More and choose Google Forms, or you can go to New, More, Google Forms. So there you go. Let's create and share. That's in a shared document or shared folder. So this is called test form, and so I like to start off by naming it and then by doing this every single time, putting a place for the students to add their names. I always put it in this order. It keeps it the most organized. And for questions like what's the section, well, that's 6A, 6B, 6D, whatever. So they're going to have 6A, last name Dreger, first name Lucas. That's myself. So whatever it is, that's what they're going to put in here. Then I put a new section, and I name it the same thing usually. And I want to ask my questions. My question is going to be, what word starts with the letter R? Okay, so not a really hard question. We're just doing a test question here, so red, black, green, and yellow. So those are our questions. I'm going to require it, so there's a really nice function that makes it so that the students have to answer the question. I like to have that on instead of them leaving things blank. And in the corner here is also an option that lets you shuffle option order, which keeps your tests a little bit more secured or harder to cheat, because instead of just memorizing what order their answer should be, like A, B, A, C, A, D, 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 C, whatever, they actually have to memorize the answers, which in the end is basically like studying. So hopefully by doing that, I'm choosing an option that forces the students to actually try. Alright, second thing you need to be looking at, once I get my face out of the way, is up here there's a spot to customize the theme. So I generally will just choose one of the basic ones from in here. So this time let's choose this beautiful picture of a book. There are many to choose from. I choose from there most of the time unless there's something specific like a science unit or something that I want to have a different picture. Alright, over here now we have settings, and I will go through and show you guys all the settings that I choose every single time and tell you why. So first of all, I go to the quiz tab and I make it a quiz. When at school, I turn on locked mode, but since we're at home right now, I turn it off. Locked mode means that respondents must be using a managed Chromebook. If they use a Windows device or if they use their phone, it no longer works. So I can't have this on if any one of my students does not have a managed Chromebook. But if they're at school and everyone's doing it together, turn this on, keeps it secured. They can't go onto any other websites except for the Google form until they click submit. So this is perfect. Over here, immediately after each submission, if it's an assignment, I generally choose this one. If it is something that I want secured, I will choose later after manual review. What that means is when I choose to release it to the kids, they can all see their marks, they can see the point values, they can see correct answers, what they should have got, what they should have put, missed questions, what they answered incorrectly, all those sorts of things. So that's after I click return, and I will show you how in a second. Then let's go across these categories. So presentation, show progress bar, that lets the students see at the top of their screen while they're doing the test how close they are to being done, but it only works via like per section. So not how many questions they have done, but how many sections they have done. So it matters more in big tests with multiple sections. And I like to choose shuffle question order, but it will shuffle around even your materials that you post. So if you post a picture separately from a question, then you might not want to choose this unless you put it in a separate section, in which case sections will only get mixed up within themselves. Alright, looking at the general heading here, this automatically checks off when we choose make a quiz. That's why I do that first. And same with limit to one response. I leave it just as this, so these three on, those three off. I don't like to see this edit after submit because I want to see what they got on their first try. If I want to give them a second try, I can give them a second try, but that I don't usually let that happen at all. So if there is a second try, I let them do that separately. And I don't really want them to compare themselves to other students on how they did on a question, so I leave that off as well. Alright, so now we have done ourselves a quiz, but see how it says total 0.0? Well, that's not any good. So this first question is 0.0, that's fine, it's their name, they should get that. But down here, this is also 0.0. So what we have to do is go click on this answer key button and up the points to 1 point. Choose the correct answer, and you don't have to do this, but you can if you want to. The correct answer was supposed to be red. Yay, you got it right. So you can choose how you want to do this, if you want to do it at all, or maybe nothing. Normally I don't put this in here, but sometimes if it's helpful, then I might. Especially when it comes to short answer, I will use this feedback. Okay, when we press done there, it locks in what we chose. See, there's a check mark here, that means that one was the correct answer. Okay, so we've now created a good Google form. Now what we need to do is go to our class in Google Classroom. Now there are two ways in here. I'm going to show you again using the way that I like best. So make a new assignment, name it, and then add from Google Drive, recent, and test form. So now we've added to Google Drive. You want to make sure this is on. Great importing. You have to have a title, you don't have to have instructions. Right now I'm leaving this off, and you can make a topic. It's good to have things organized, make a due date. The points will automatically get updated, so you don't have to adjust that, but if you want to, you can. You can either assign in the future, for any day, any time, or you can assign right now. So let's assign it right now and see what happens. So now, if you go to the stream, it's at the top of the stream. If you go to classwork, it's in our organized topic of tests. Click on there, click view assignment, and you shall see the test. Since I have no students in my test class, I don't see any students lined up here, and I don't see any students here. But you should see a set of students and blank marks. When you press this import grades button, it will take their marks and overwrite anything that you have in this column. So I'm going to click import, and all of these marks would now be updated. Then you click this check mark, and this will turn blue, this return button. You'll click that, and it will return to all of your students. Once you do that, the students will look at a screen very similar to this, but on this side it will say your work or my work, something like that, and there will be a link that looks very similar to this with their responses. So if they click on that, it will open up what they answered on the Google form. And one last thing to say is, if you're using anything but multiple choice, it won't really be able to mark it for you. So what you will need to do is go to your Google form, click responses, and in here you'll have to mark their short answer or long answer yourself before you press the import grades button. And that's it. So good luck everyone. and I hope you have fun.